This door handle quit working. It broke. It broke because of a little piece of plastic, which if you watch long enough, you'll get to see that little piece of plastic that broke. But I got it put back together, put a new bracket on the inside of the door for the other side of this, and a new striker down here. Oh, that's the striker. This is the latch. I put all this stuff in and everything works. But I'm going to tell you, if this happens to you and you are considering doing this job, seriously consider it. You might want to skip a alimony payment instead of doing this job. It is frustrating. It will make you angry as hell. It will take you way more hours than you think it should. And at the end of the day, you could end up with something working. But you may get like I did, where earlier today I wanted to take this thing, drive it to the landfill, and leave it there. So, good luck. When I started, I said this all started because of a little piece of broken plastic. That's it. That little piece of plastic caused all this headache. Well, today I'm working on my 2012 Equinox. The door handle just quit working. It doesn't open this door anymore, and it just does that. So I'm taking it apart, looking in here, and trying to figure out what's going on. There's good videos on getting this stuff taken apart, so I'm not going to go into all that. But those videos just cover how to replace this, and at least the ones I saw. So I'm going to go into what I'm going to do to troubleshoot the problem, figure out what's going on, and get it fixed. If this video helps you, please like and subscribe. Thanks. It's best if you take plastic, like a plastic scraper, or they have tools that do this. But if you don't have one handy, you just have to be careful because you don't want to scratch up your paint. But you can take this and get it in there and pop it loose. And you can see how, as I go around, I'm getting it loose all the way around. And then usually I'll lower the window some. These usually clip down into the window, so you usually have to pop them up to get this whole door panel released. But there will be plenty of things hooked to it once I get it released. So all I really want to do is get this part released so I can see what's going on behind there. You'll need to remove this little cover and the 2 screws behind it in order to get this part of the door panel to release. There is a little cover right there where I'm pointing that you have to pop off, and then there's one more slightly smaller screw holding that in, which is why it won't come loose at this point. Okay, so what I found after going a couple days carrying around a pair of needle nose with me, there's a bar that runs up in here that goes down to the actuator. The actuator is what does the job here that actually latches it on to that part or releases it. So there's a bar that goes down, and when you pull the handle, it pushes down on that bar. So I was taking a pair of needle nose while I had this all disconnected, because once you've got the inside panel off and everything disconnected like that, you can't control your windows, you can't control your door locks, you can't control your dog. Sadie, don't do it, girl. Such a pretty girl. You can't control your side view mirrors, electric stuff like that, and the car thinks that the door is open all the time. But you come in here with a couple of T30s, star tools, and you can remove this, and it all loosens up so that the whole contraption drops down. This is on the inside. There's the door lock where the key would go if you had the key, and that's connected to the same thing, which is, it's up in here. You really can't see it right now. But what happened, it appears, is that, I'm just going to pull this out. This piece right here, and I can't find anything about this. So if this is your problem, you're welcome. Subscribe, do me a favor. So this piece here, Sadie girl, Sadie, I gotta work, girl, I'm making a video. Can you give me a little space? Oh, that's making her foot shake. She's so cute. Such a sweet puppy. She's only 80 pounds. My puppy, my sweet girl. Anyway, so this bar here, it doesn't actually come out here. It goes all the way up in there, but I pulled it out so that I could see what it, pull the little plastic piece off of it. This plastic piece here is the piece that does the work. So this motion has to transfer into a downward motion. So that didn't make a lot of sense to me until I got this piece. And this piece was actually loose. It had actually come out of here. This piece was on this bar here. This was the bar. Now, like I said, it doesn't hang out here. It comes back up into here. But this bar pushes down to open the door, to actuate the actuator, to activate the actuator. And so when that goes down, when this handle goes out, that has to go down. So the way that works is, presumably the handle comes in right here, and then and this piece clips in, and then when you pull the handle out, that rocks that down. And that's how it opens the door. And this piece had actually come out of this groove here. So I'm gonna go ahead and order this new piece here. So you can't just buy this little piece, and I didn't realize there was a spring. You have to buy the whole thing, which is okay because, you know, this was the broken area right here, and that's what holds all this in place. And it's a tiny little thing that holds all that. And that's what my problem was. But so I'm gonna take, and the only thing it didn't come with is a new lock, which you don't want a new lock because you want your old key to fit. This thing goes into here, and that's what opens the door. Looks like it just pops out. Yep, pulls out. Ah, there's one on both sides. Get this one first. That little wing opens. And that connects just like a normal cable would right there. So we'll go ahead and open this wing and connect this. If you look inside here, if you look at this, there's a deep side and a thin side right here. So if you look at this, inside of this, you can also see that same thing. So the thicker side has to go this way in this case. So let's get that down in there. Hold that. Slide that in, pop that closed, and that's in. There we go. So that went out just like that. All right, so that's two. And then, so this one, hold it together so that I can do that. That one's ready. This is all going to go in like this, so when this striker hits, It'll open up like that. So let's try and get this jewel in here and fastened in a little bit, not tight. So we got to feed this through. Yeah, this one will go to here. And then this last one will come up to here. And if you remember, this red piece, we pulled it out, so we can't do that from that side. So, and this pulls it in while you're snugging it up, so that's in. This is where the real fun begins. You will see that I will go in and out with this thing. Wires have to be in the right place. You have to be on the right side of the brackets. It's just a real pain. So take your time and be careful and be slow with this, because it is not easy. This is hard to do. So we have that. We can close this manually and see that that works. And then, oh crap, this came out. Okay, so this is proving a little more difficult because there's so many things that have to go right all at once. What I had happen was this is the old one. I was putting the new one in, and it goes in like this, and this bar that controls the lock that comes down from the doorknob, that uses the key, this is what does it. And what happened was it came out. So I had to loosen the whole mechanism back up and remove it all back out. So in trying to get this back in while it's still in there, I had to figure out which way it went. So fortunately, I still had the old one. So what I determined was, like I said, this goes like this in the door. So then flipped over, you can see this bar controls this. Well, if you don't know which way it goes, like I was trying to do, I was trying to come in from the back side and get it in there. But if you do that, what happens is that drags, that hits. So that'll never work. So this piece has to come in from the front side so that it can move freely, and the bend comes to the inside of the car. I guess that's the best way to say that. Once this gets mounted in, that bend comes to the inside of the car and the hook points outside. So if you ever have to do this, that's how that goes. Now I have managed to pop the other one, managed to close it, and when I went to unlatch it, it came apart, which is okay. It didn't break. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until I get everything in, and then I'm going to reach in and I'm going to snap this in here and then close it on the rod that's still hanging in there somewhere. It's in there, I just can't put my hands on it. Can't hold the camera and all that at once. Lesson hard learned. You will want to put a towel, a shirt, something in the bottom of this door. I got everything together And this piece that was the problem, as I was putting the last little touches on it, popped apart and the spring fell down in the door. And I fought it and fought it and fought it. And my wife finally came out and got it out and came up with the brilliant idea to put that down there to catch crap that falls. So, good call. I usually do that on my boat when I'm working on my outboard motor and it's on the water, so stuff doesn't fall down in the foot or anything like that. But now I've got this all apart again for the third or fourth time, and I got so close, but it didn't work. Slide this on, see how that fits like that. You can put it on anyway, it goes on either way, but it'll eventually need to end up like that. And then you can see that there's a little gap there. And this is where the door striker, the door handle pulls on. So you have to raise it up like that. Slide it in. You can see that fits there. And that's up against there. Then you click it until it does that. That looks right. That doesn't, because it hits right here. So it's the only way to get that in there. Like that. That needs to hook to this. And then all that needs to go up in there. This is hooked in. So that needs to hook in. Then I can run it all up in there. And for the love of God, get this thing finished. Have that bolt screwed into the bracket so you can just hook it in. This is where it gets tricky. The little latch that this has to go on is up a little bit too high. So I have to massage it inside. All right, so this goes in. There's two little pieces here that fit in these two holes. This goes like this. Is that as far as it'll go?
As far as I can get it.
Oh, there we go. Wait a minute. Oh. Okay.
Release it.
Wait a minute. No, this is popped out of place. Use that access hole that you opened up to begin with to get your finger in there and help slide that up and get it in place. Yeah, that's it. Okay, that was the key. Having somebody on the other side holding it down. A little slot on the front here. When this is snapped into place, you can either come from behind it, or you can put a screwdriver in the front of it and just pop it up. It's like this. It's got to go way back in the corner. It can't be here. It's got to get over that and back in there. So there we go. And again, I would show you this, but you wouldn't be able to see a ding dang dong thing. Make sure the door is unlocked. Put that into closed position. It worked. Fucking miracle. That did it. All right, now I can come tighten all this stuff down. No need to make you watch all that. Just everything, just make sure it's all snugged back down. I think this, because the window comes down in through there, I think this needs to come back around the front, and I'll just reroute it. And this goes in here. Clips back into place. I think we're gonna be golden. Sadie decided she needed help. Sadie girl, sit girl. Oh. All right, I got everything snugged down. About to put the door panel back on. Okay, so I finished. Put all this on. You got a couple indentions here and here to help you get started lining it up. Then you can just kind of massage it down. It's never going to go back exactly because this stuff was, you know, put on at the factory, but that's pretty good. Make sure to pull this out beforehand because I didn't do that. Then the only other thing to do is to hook up these two. They just plug right back in like you saw when I took it out. And then this cable snaps into the door handle. You're not really going to be able to see any of that because I can't position the camera in a way that you will be able to see it. Don't leave any of the little pop snaps in the door. So this project is finished. If you don't have a ton of patience, are willing to do things over and over and over, and are okay with your arm looking like that from jamming it up inside this dang door for hours, don't take this on. I would not wish this on anybody. This is a 2012 Equinox. It's now 2022, so that's not terrible. 10 years on it. But you can see everything works. The inside door latch works. All the buttons work. Everything works now. So it's a success. But again, I would not recommend you do this. I gave you as much information as I could. I left out some of the stuff about pulling the inside door panel off and putting it back on. There's plenty of stuff out there on that, and that's pretty easy stuff to do anyway. When you do the door panel, make sure your top is in the clips. I had one piece out right about here, and I had to roll the window down and from the inside, outside, pull it up and over and into the clip. So I just recommend seriously considering letting the dealership do it. I'm sure it'll cost about $500 because I put about $100 or so in parts. And the time it took me 4 hours today, and that was to put it all back together. Aside from the time it took me to take it apart and figure out what was going on. There's no videos out there like this. So hopefully this helps you if you are brave enough to try it. But again, I don't recommend it.